What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the House of the Dragon and all the dragon riders that dwell within inside. Whether you're riding the red dragon or the green dragon, it's a good day to be a Bitcoin Cash dragon rider today. I'm back home. That's why we're in the usual format, but I wanted to go over something before we go over the TA, and that's something that Bitcoin Jason here said. He said, actually, I could follow your TA better on your mobile. I made a mobile video yesterday. It was a different format than I normally do it just like this on my computer with my stand and my camera and my microphone and everything, but I did it only off of my phone yesterday. I'm wondering if anybody else found that same thing to be true. Did some of you find yesterday's video to be better? Did you like the format more than this kind of format? Was it easier to follow? I'm kind of curious. Is it indifferent? Do you like this format more? I leave a comment on this video because I really am kind of curious to see what you guys think. And maybe you're indifferent. Maybe Jason, you're alone on this one. Maybe you're not alone. Maybe there's a bunch of people who like this format more. Maybe nobody cares. I really don't know. So I am curious. If you guys wouldn't mind commenting and telling me if you prefer videos like this, or if you actually like the video that I made on my mobile. If you like mobile videos, guys, I can, I live in Colorado, so I can take you guys on some pretty beautiful walks. But anyways, without any more of that, let's get into the TA. Let's start looking at it, right? And I've got this line drawn. I had the same line drawn in my video yesterday, and on this candle, on this 4-hour candle here, I was talking about us potentially going up to this line. And I did say that we don't have to go up to it. We really don't. And I have this thing on the pattern site. If you guys don't know of the pattern site, thepatternSite.com, man, it's fantastic. It really is great. How I found this, I went to chart patterns, come on, there we go. And I scrolled down to partial, so it would be on P. It's all alphabetized here. Let's see. HIJKLMNOP, and partial rises. A partial rise, kind of like this right here. If you have trend lines and you're coming up to it, but you can't quite get to that trend line, it's like you bounced off this trend line and you're going to go up. The next idea would be to come up to it, but you can't quite reach there. That's a partial rise, and it's actually a bearish move. And in this one, he gives an example. It doesn't have to be on a broadening pattern. I think he only gives an example of broadening patterns for some reason. Yeah, the above figure shows, or maybe it's not only for broadening patterns. Let's see. It says broadening patterns. I wouldn't say, in my experience, that it doesn't need to be broadening patterns. I've seen partial rises and declines on channels, on like whatever, and I don't think this is a broadening or a wedging pattern at all. But Thomas Bulkowski apparently says it's only on broadening patterns. But I'm telling you guys, you can find it without that too. The main idea is you bounce off the bottom trend line, you come up like you're going to go touch the top trend line, and you can't quite get there, and you reject down, you get the real bearish move afterwards. Could we be seeing that right now? Could this be a mark that we are going to go lower? It's possible. But to be completely fair, too, this move might not be over. We could still go up to this white line. We could even go above it. It's totally possible. I'm not worried from a bearish position, from a red dragon position, until we break above this high here. If we were to break above the high at 266 and 29 cents, that would encourage me to change my game plan, that we might not go lower. But I do think that we go lower. And I have a few reasons for that beyond the partial decline here, or the partial rise here. And the thing is, we can study all this all that we want, but like really what you're seeing. Oh, okay, no. Wait, is this chart patterns? Okay. Oh, okay. So it isn't just in broadenings. Let's see. Broadening bottoms, rectangle tops, rectangle bottoms. I don't know. Maybe it is broadening for him. I don't know. I've seen it in channels plenty of times though, so I don't think that it's necessarily in broadening. This could be broadening, right? Like if you were to take this low here to there, that's parallel. That might not be broadening. Anyways, moving on from that, guys. I would still feel comfortable calling this a partial rise, but we would have to roll over first. I'd say get a 4-hour below 230, and then we can start calling this a partial rise. At the moment, though, it's still possible that we go up from here. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, another thing besides just the overall analysis of this and like going over all the definitions of it and all the characteristics that he has labeled. you can kind of imagine this, right? Like use your brain to think about this as like a line that we are finding resistance on. There's probably other people that have their eyes on this line, traders, day traders, investors, whatever, and maybe people, the people in control of the market right now that have like a more of a say in where the price is going, you know, they're in control to the downside, right? Because we are in a downtrend, and knowing that, instead of coming all the way up to touch this line, there's so much sell pressure that we can't even actually get up there. And the traders, the people that are aware of this, they're front running it, and that's why we see this kind of gap, right? It doesn't just happen with lines like this. It can happen in the fibs. It can happen with like all-time highs, all-time lows, whatever. You know, like it can happen in a few different areas besides just like lines like this. But moving on from this, again, I think there are other reasons why we could go lower. If we're looking on the daily here, something I said in my video yesterday, and I've continued to say because it's been true this whole time, is that even with this low, it was here, it was true here, it was true here, and it's true here still. Even with this low, this is the shortest, the smallest, the shallowest retracement that we've ever seen in Bitcoin Cash's history. So I don't think that we're done yet. There's a first time for everything, but I really don't think that we're done yet. Also, on the weekly, we have just closed, right? Today's the second day in the week right now, right? We have 5 days and 19 hours left, so we've officially gotten 1 day done with the week. We're in our second day now, and we have closed out of the overbought zone. Every time that we've gone overbought and closed out of it, we have seen a minimum drop of 43% from the top to the bottom. Minimum drop being the key word, because there have been drops that have been more. I would say, I don't know, out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, I think like half of them were in the 40% range. The other half were above the 60% range. So just keep that in mind. Okay, it doesn't have to stop at 43%. Beyond that, you know, we are kind of looking at this fib range. If we're to go on the 4 hour, we have double tapped this 236 right here as resistance, right? Where we disrespected it so much, so often, we came below it, and now we've double tapped it as resistance. I am not holding too much significance on this because we did disrespect it so much. This line might be bogus, but to be fair, we did find resistance on it right over here. Oops, you can see where I was trying to draw it, right? Like right there, and we're finding resistance on it now. The last time, you know, that sent us down to about, you know, where the lows of this range are now. If we were to come back down here, I would expect that we go lower, but who knows? Maybe we come back down here like we did before. We have a double bottom. We continue to move sideways, have a slightly higher high, which is ultimately just another lower high. You know, I don't know. Something like that could happen, but I'm more expecting that we would go down if we were to come back down from here. I don't know. I don't think that we'd get a double bottom, especially with that partial rise at play. Beyond that, there are other fibs. Looking at it from top here to bottom here, we did get close to the 618, and again, we couldn't quite get there. Seeing this kind of stuff is bearish to me, but this move might not be done yet. So we still could move up to there. And if we were to move, I would think that we find resistance in this kind of zone here, which is again 246 to 250. We could go a little bit higher to the 786 or the 886. Finding this much resistance could mean that if we do break the 618, that we could actually top off at the 786 or the 886. I very much would not expect extensions from this, but it could happen. It really could happen. But I do think that we're going to go lower ultimately, so I'm not betting on that. And then also this guy from, I'm pulling out a lot of fibs here, but from the top to bottom, we are also rejecting, or wait, is this the one that I was already looking at? Are there two 236s right here? Let me see. I think that is, yeah, there are two 236s. From this, because I'm pretty sure the first one I was referring to was based off this low to this high. Yeah, okay. So there's two 236s that we are potentially finding resistance on right now. But this one, this is the new fib that I was trying to talk about right now. And we can see here, you know, from the first top to low, and just so you guys know, you can draw fibs like this, right? From the first top to low here, or the high that we're going to use this high throughout. We bottomed here. We went all the way up to the 61869 area, as we commonly do, and rejected down from there. And then actually, you know, if we were to take a fib from the bottom to the top here, you can see that we held the 1414 as an extension. We actually continue to go lower. We're actually respecting this little fib here, and that kind of makes sense because this was the first like little like wigwag that we got It wouldn't be too out of the normal also to find respect on this one. I know I'm all over the place right now, guys. I'm sorry. But we're bouncing off the 1618 there. But what I'm trying to address is from top to bottom. I'm going to move this one around, but I'm not going to move the top one there. So from top to bottom here, rejected the 618, 69 zone, and we went lower. If we bring it to this low, now it's another fib for this move. Same thing, 618 to 69 zone, lower high, and we went lower. Because as this moves down, of course, the 618 and 69 are going to get lower. And we actually, on this one, we held the 236, went back up to the 618, and then rejected it, right? That's why these double rejections off the 618 can be fatal, or at least not good if you do end up breaking above them eventually. So you go from this top again, I don't know what that was, to the bottom, and now instead of even getting to the 618, we've actually rejected the 236, rejected it. We had a double bottom, and we rejected the 382. Now we're showing like more weakness, in my opinion. And as of right now, from top to bottom, we are at this 236 holding resistance. Could we do something again like this and then ultimately make our way up to the 382, which would be, surprise, surprise, at 255, which would again come very well in line with this downtrending line here. I'm gonna fix it. I know it doesn't look right now, but where we've seen all these highs kind of come into play. Could we go up to this 382 area, maybe even a little bit above this line? Sure, it's possible, but I don't know, man. I have a funny feeling that this might be the beginning of the end, which is cool. That's actually really exciting. Nobody should be worried about that or be upset about that. We want this thing to end. I mean, we want to stop going down. We want to start going up, right? I'm definitely ready for this thing to go down because I want to scoop some up at some sweet prices down below 185, hopefully. But I do think that we have a solid chance to go into 140, 180, somewhere in that range. But as of right now, that's kind of to be determined. We'll see whenever we get down there. If we get down there, again, if you want to prove that wrong, get above this previous this previous high at 266 and 30 cents, something like that. Get above it on a wicking basis, on a closing basis, whatever. If you can get above that, I will personally change my my game plan. Looking at the 1 hour here, looking at the RSI, I don't know. Kind of neutral at the moment, kind of bullish at the moment, to be fair. You are bouncing off the 50, but you got 31 minutes left in this hour. You've kind of got a lower high double top scenario up here. A lot of volume on this top candle, and it was a shooting star down. I don't know what to make of it, really. I guess I kind of like it. It looks like it could go for another run up, potentially. But if it were to come down and get into the oversold zone, that's also not totally out of the question. On the 1 hour, getting back up it's not going to promote anything too impressive. Again, that'd probably take us around 250 or 255, which is the kind of expected move. From the 4 hour, I don't like the 4 hour as much. We got up into the overbought zone and rejected it immediately, and actually rejected right down out of the bullish area of control. But then we got back into it, and we haven't shown any strength afterwards. But there's there hasn't really been a whole lot of time for this thing to develop. So maybe we do go higher. I really don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's gonna go up or it's gonna go down. If I was a betting man, I guess I am starting to lean toward the idea that this could be the top. But I say that, and if it is to go higher than this, don't get too excited, right? This is the high that it needs to take out, really. And I mean, breaking that overall descending trend line that we have, right, with all these highs, that would be exciting as well. But if this were to be a partial rise, this could be actually very opposite of exciting for the bulls, for the green dragon. This would be very exciting for the bears. And we very well could go lower. There's something else I wanted to say. I don't know, man. Oh, that's what it was, actually. Yeah, on the daily. So with the day closing that we just had about 5 hours ago, we are at an area right now where if we reject, we're literally rejecting the 50 zone, and that would not look good. We've done that a couple times in Bitcoin Cash's history. And every time it generally promotes a pretty strong move to the downside, or at least just further action to the downside. Rejected it here, and all we did was slowly bleed down. And eventually, we had this last tip right there, and that gave us our flash crash down. And this was after some very sideways, boring kind of movements. We're in much more exciting times. I was kind of comparing this to this yesterday, but this even, I don't even know if that's a fair comparison, because this, as boring as it is far more exciting than this was over here. This was straight like sideways movement with a slow bleed. At least here we're getting some more day-to-day downside, with a little bit of excitement here and there to the upside, but overall it's pretty obvious that it's going down. Hard to say. I don't know. Hard to say if we go a little bit higher from here or not. Honestly, I feel like I could be wrong on this, but I'm going to take a stance and say that we don't go higher than this, and like for right now at least. Now we're probably going to go lower than this low here, and potentially start this final descent that I've been looking for. We did reject the overbought zone up here on the weekly RSI, and that has always promoted some more significant moves to the downside, which we've just been lacking for the past 5 weeks after this dramatic pump. So we'll see if we get it. I don't really have anything else more to say. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. So with that, guys, if you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.